Have you ever been dealing with data, maybe something like this, where you have weeks or months, and you have all these subtotals, but then you need to come up with a grand total? So this is where you run into issues, because if you try to use a sum and select everything, it's going to include these subtotals. And so maybe what you ended up doing was doing equals, and then clicking on each cell, and then plus, and the next cell, plus, and next cell. But this method is tedious, especially if you're dealing with weeks, and it's easy to miss a week or accidentally double count one. So is there a solution? Yes, there is. So in these subtotals, we are currently using sum, which will add itself twice if you have another sum up here. But there's a formula in Google Sheets called subtotal that will not count itself. So we're going to add that up here. But first of all, we need to replace these sum formulas. And so you may be wondering, well, now I'm going to have to replace all these formulas, and that's going to be just as much work. We can actually bulk replace these. So I'm going to select just the columns where we have those formulas. And then I'm going to either use the keyboard shortcut, or you can go here to find and replace. And then what we're going to do here is equal sum, and then a left parentheses, and then replace with equals subtotal, open parentheses, 9 and a comma. And then we want to make sure we're only doing this in the range where we have those sum formulas. And then the important part is check here, search within formulas, and replace all. So now we can hit done. And now if we look at these formulas, they're now subtotal. And so I'll go into more detail why we pick 9 there and so forth. But they are now working again. And so now at the top, we can do subtotal again, 9, and then pick that whole range, just like that. And now we have our grand total of all the weeks without double counting our totals. And at this point, I can just copy this formula and then paste this formula across, just like that. And then the cool thing about subtotal, and I'll show you a little bit more of this in just a second, but you can actually do averages as well. And so let's go into this and show you what you can do. So when I picked that 9 on that subtotal before, the reason why is because in subtotal, you get to pick a function code. And so if we look, 9 is sum. So we picked subtotal 9, comma, and then our range, because that gave us a sum, but we also have all these other ones available as well. So we could pick average, count, counta, max, min, etc. So in this case, we can simply pick 1 and then select our range again. And now we have our average number of leads, and this would be by day. And so then again, I can copy my formula, paste it across, and I'm doing this so it doesn't mess up my formatting. And so if you have special formatting on those cells, that's a great way to do that as well, is that paste and formula only. So now we have our totals and our averages without double counting, and that took way less time than it would have to select each of those individually. So that's it for today's video. Make sure to check out the other videos on our channel for more tutorials on both Google Sheets and AppScript. And as always, have a great day.